Good day, nurses. So for today's recorded lecture, we are going to discuss your basic concepts on your psychopharmacology. But for us to be able to understand the different mechanism of actions on how this medication works, we need to first discuss your neurotransmitters. Okay, so pag sinabi kasi nating neurotransmitters class, these neurotransmitters, they are just chemical substances, okay? They are chemical substances that is being manufactured by our neurons. So here, this illustration represents a neuron. Okay, so sabi natin, these neurotransmitters, they are chemical substances that is being manufactured in your neuron that helps for us to transmit information all throughout our body. That is the function of your neurotransmitter na tawag. So makikita natin in here, ito po yung mga neurotransmitters natin, yung mga parang bilog-bilog dyan. Okay, yung mga kulay green, they are your neurotransmitters na tinatawag. Pansin natin, there is, tawag dito, parang meron siyang protection. Parang may nag-encapsulate sa kanilang mga neurotransmitter. And yan po yung tinatawag natin na cytoplasm vesicles natin. So, this cytoplasm vesicles class, it helps, tumutulong po yan para i-guide niya yung ating mga neurotransmitters, okay? Para i-store niya yung ating mga neurotransmitter para hindi po sila masira ng mga enzymes in our body. Ngayon, kapag nagkaroon ng impulse, okay? Nagkaroon ng enough na impulse or stimulus, okay? By your action potential na tinatawag at your presynaptic neuron. So this is your presynaptic neuron natin. And then this is your postsynaptic neuron. And the space in between, that is your synaptic cleft na tinatawag. Okay, ngayon, when an impulse arrive by a way of an action potential at your presynaptic neuron, ang mangyayari dyan, class, yung ating mga vesicles, yung mga vesicles natin, they are being triggered para mag-move sila papunta sa ating mga cell membrane wall na tinatawag. Ngayon, kapag nasa cell membrane wall na po yung ating mga vesicles, nagkakaroon na po ng release of your transmitter. Lalabas po yung ating mga neurotransmitter papunta po sa ating synaptic cleft na tinatawag. So, this is your synaptic cleft, tama? Okay, ngayon, pag nasa synaptic cleft na sila, for these neurotransmitters to function, kailangan po nila ng mga receptors na tinatawag. So, saan po yung mga receptors natin dito, sir? These are your receptors natin. Yan po yung mga receptors natin. Okay? Yung mga receptors natin, they are embedded in your cell membrane of your postsynaptic neuron natin. Okay? Ngayon, kapag, nagkaroon na ng interlock, okay, of your receptors together with your neurotransmitter, pansin natin yung ating receptors parang pa-circle po yung niya. Therefore, of course, yung mga receptors kasi natin, they are usually configured in size and shape. Depende yan kung ano yung neurotransmitter ang mag-join sa kanila. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng iba yung shape and size ng ating mga neurotransmitter na magbabind together with your receptors. Hindi po yun mag-work. Okay? Therefore, kapag nagkaroon ako ng action, okay, immediately upon connection of your neurotransmitter to your receptors, nagkakaroon po ng action yung tinatawag. Nagkakaroon ng action yung tinatawag, whether may it be an inhibitory or excitatory na action. Sorry. Excitatory. Inhibitory. Or excitatory na action itong tawag. Ibig sabihin, pag inhibitory, yun na yung tinatawag natin na repolarization. Therefore, matratransmit pa po kaya or magkakaroon pa po kaya ng action potential na maitransmit sa kabilang neurons? Of course, hindi na po. Therefore, kapag excitatory naman yan, yun pa yung tinatawag natin na repolarization. Okay, therefore, kapag ganun, maitransmit pa rin natin yung action potential from one neuron to another. After that action, sabi natin inhibitory or excitatory, yung mga yung mga neurotransmitters natin, class, they will be inactivated. Okay, yung mga neurotransmitter na nagamit natin, they will be inactivated by enzymes. Therefore, kapag na-inactivate yan, bakit kailangan i-inactivate yan, sir? Kasi gagamitin pa po yan ng ating katawan. Hindi po tayo pwedeng magsayang ng neurotransmitter kasi kapag nagkaroon ng pagsasayang ng neurotransmitter, magkakaroon po ng imbalance. Pag nagkaroon ng imbalance, that will result to your disorder. For a while, i-discuss po natin yung mga yun. Okay, ngayon, sabi natin, na-breakdown na po yan in inactivated substances yung ating mga neurotransmitter by an enzyme. Therefore, after that one, kailangan po nang maibalik yan sa pinanggalingan niya. Okay, therefore, babalik po yan sa kanyang mga pinanggalingan na vesicles. And yung process na yun, kapag naibalik na po natin, yung ating mga neurotransmitter in your presynaptic neuron or in your intracellular fluids, okay, from the synapse into your intracellular fluid, yun po yung tinatawag natin na process na reuptake. So that is your neurotransmitters na tinatawag natin. Ulitin natin, yung neurotransmitters natin, they are your chemical substance, no, that are being manufactured in the neuron that aids in the transmission of your information all throughout your body. Ngayon, pansin natin yung mga neurotransmitter natin, they are encapsulated with your vesicles na tinatawag. Diba? Yung mga vesicles natin, they are being stored in there, which safeguard your neurotransmitter from being destroyed by your enzymes. Ngayon, pag nagkaroon ng action potential at your presynaptic neuron, anong mangyayari kapag masyadong malakas yung impulse, masyadong malakas yung stimulus natin? Of course, your vesicles will be triggered para mag-move papunta sa ating mga cell membrane wall. Therefore, mare-release po yung ating mga neurotransmitter in our what? In our synaptic cleft na tinatawag. Ngayon, sabi natin, para mag-function po yung ating mga neurotransmitter or para ma-transmit po natin yung action potential na yan to the other neurons, on your postsynaptic neuron, there are receptors that is embedded on it. Ano yung mga receptors natin? Yung mga receptors natin, they are being configured in the size and shape of the neurotransmitter na magjo-join or magbabind sa kanila. Ngayon, kapag nag-bind ang ating neurotransmitters in your receptors, ano mangyari? Magkakaroon ng action na tinatawag. May it be, sabi natin kanina, inhibitory or excitatory na action. Ngayon, after that action that is already being exerted, sabi natin kanina, yung ating mga neurotransmitter, they will be broken down or they will be inactivated by an enzyme. Kasi sabi natin, hindi ka pwedeng magsayang ng neurotransmitter. Kasi pag nagsayang ka ng neurotransmitter, possible, pwede siyang ma-imbalance that will result to specific disorders that will be discussed later on in this recorded lecture. Ngayon, after that one, kapag ibabalik na po natin yung mga neurotransmitter na nagamit natin, ano pong tawag natin sa process na yun? That is your reuptake na tinatawag. So I hope clear sa inyo yung mga neurotransmitters natin and of course, the purpose and action of your neurotransmitters natin. Okay, let's proceed with your disorders na po tayo. Okay, so yung pag-aaralan natin later on, yung mga psychotropic drugs natin, ang ginagawa lang naman po nila sa ating mga neurotransmitter, hindi po nila sinisira ha. It's either binabalance mo nila yung mismo chemical levels ng ating mga neurotransmitters na tinatawag natin. Ngayon, so there are specific disorders in here. Okay, of course, yung mga chemical levels and yung mga affectation na mga, or affected na mga neurotransmitters na nagkakaroon ng imbalances that will result to these specific diseases. Excuse me. Okay, number one, we have here your Alzheimer's disease. Pag nagkaroon ka ng Alzheimer's disease, it's either your acetylcholine, okay, yung acetylcholine natin ay mababa. Kapag schizophrenia naman po yan, or other schizophrenic forms na mga disorders, masyadong mataas ang dopamine natin. And kapag ikaw naman, pag meron kang anxiety, masyadong mataas ang norepinephrine mo, and mababa ang GABA na tinatawag natin. Ano po yung GABA, sir? That is your gamma-aminobutyric acid na tinatawag natin. That is your gamma-aminobutyric acid. How about kapag meron ka naman pong depression, sir? Kapag meron kang depression, mababa ang ating norepinephrine and mababa din po ang ating serotonin or serotonin level natin. Kapag meron ka namang mania class, Masyadong mataas ang norepinephrine and mababa ang serotonin level. So, kabaliktaran lang sila ng depression, yung tinatawag natin na mania. Ulitin natin, kapag meron kang Alzheimer's, mababang acetylcholine. Kapag meron kang schizophrenia, mataas ang dopamine level. Kapag meron kang anxiety, mataas ang norepinephrine and mababa ang gamma-aminobutyric acid or your GABA. Kapag meron kang depression, mababa ang norepinephrine and mababa din ang serotonin natin. And kapag meron kang mania, kabaliktaran ng depression, mataas ang norepinephrine mo and mataas din ang serotonin level natin. Okay, so let's proceed first with your first disorder. So, yung unang drugs kasi na i-discuss natin, yun po yung tinatawag natin na major tranquilizers or your antipsychotics or your neuroleptics agents na tinatawag natin. So, ginagamit po yan for patients with schizophrenia primarily. Okay, let's discuss first your schizophrenia. Pag sinabi kasi natin schizophrenia yung class, that is a chronic psychiatric disorder. Okay, chronic psychiatric disorder or sa madaling sabi, ito yung tinatawag nila na split mind. Okay, ang ibig sabihin pa kasi ng schizophrenia natin, that is your split mind. That is actually your schizophrenia, that is a German word. Ibig sabihin yan ay split mind. So yung ating tawag dito schizophrenia, chronic psychiatric disorder. Therefore, disorder siya. Ibig sabihin, syndrome siya or disease process. And hindi lang po siya single entity na disease na tinatawag or single entity disease yan. Or single disease entity. Maraming pong factors yan. Multifactorial po kung bakit nagkakaroon ka ng schizophrenia. And of course, yung mga manifestations and characteristics niya. Okay, ano ba yung mga characteristics ng schizophrenia? It's actually characterized by what? Kapag si patient nagkaroon ng impaired communication, nagkaroon ng altered reality, yun po yung tinatawag natin na psychosis. Okay, pag sinabi kasi natin psychosis yan, nagkaroon ka ng disorder that alters your reality. How about naman po kapag yung yung disorder na hindi naman po nagkakos ng altered in your, or distortion in your reality, that is your neurosis na tinatawag. So itong mga concepts na napapasadahan lang natin, kasi hindi natin siya i-discuss ng entoto like in your psychiatric and mental health nursing, your NCM 117 in your level 3. Okay, para lang at least magkaroon kayo ng brief background regarding kung paano mag-work yung gamot, and of course kung paano natin siya i-apply, okay, kapag mayroon kang manifestations na ganito or mayroon kang sakit na ganito. Or kung paano natin siya i-manage. Okay? Sabi natin kanina, your schizophrenia is a chronic psychiatric disorder. And yung tawag natin dito is your, ibig sabihin ng schizophrenia from the German word, split mind po ang tawag natin dyan. Okay? And then, it is characterized by what? Impaired communication. Okay? Meron kang altered reality. Yun po yung tinatawag natin na psychosis. And of course, kapag ganito, pag disorder yan, it will affect your optimum level of functioning. Kaya nagkakaroon ng deterioration of your optimum level of functioning na tinatawag. And it is usually developed during adolescence and early childhood. Pag sa mga kalalakihan, mas maaga ang kanyang onset kapag si patient nagka-develop ng schizophrenia. Okay, at least 15 to 25 years old si patient, na lalaki, pwede na siyang magkaroon or dyan na ma-manifest lahat ng kanyang mga symptoms na meron siyang schizophrenia. Kapag kababaihan naman yan, it's either 25 to 35 years old. Okay, so yun lang po yung natin sa ating schizophrenia. Okay, so sa ating schizophrenia, of course, meron tayong mga iba't ibang symptoms dyan. It's either meron kang cognitive symptoms, meron kang positive symptoms, and of course, pwede ka rin magkaroon ng tinatawag na negative symptoms natin. Under your cognitive symptoms class, cognition sa pag-iisip, nagkakaroon sila ng disorganized thinking, nagkakaroon sila ng memory difficulty, and of course, nagkakaroon ng decreased ability to focus, or nagkakaroon sila ng inattention na tinatawag. Okay, yan po yung mga cognitive symptoms natin. However, with your positive symptoms naman po, nagkakaroon ng exaggeration of your normal functioning. Okay, like for example, ano ba yung mga ganito? It's your agitation, di ba? And then nagkakaroon ka ng incoherent speech. Kasi sabi natin kanina, nagkakaroon ng impaired communication yung mga patients natin na merong schizophrenia. And of course, possible magkaroon ka ng hallucination. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng hallucination? This is your false sensory perceptions. Okay, that's your hallucination. Nagkakaroon ka ng false sensory perceptions. Nakakarinig ka ng mga bagay-bagay that is out of reality. Nakakakita ka ng mga bagay-bagay that is out of reality. And of course, pwede ka rin makaamoy, makaramdam, lahat ng yan. Marami kasing klase ng hallucinations. And of course, meron din po tayo tinatawag na delusions. So, your delusions, hallucinations, they are under your positive symptoms. Pag sinabi kasi natin delusion yan, magkaiba po itong dalawang to. Okay? Pag sinabi natin delusion yan, this is your fixed false belief naman po yan. Okay, that is your delusion, that is your fixed false belief. And then of course, lastly, we also have your paranoia. Okay, so these are your positive symptoms of your schizophrenia. Of course, meron din po tayong negative symptoms in here. Number 1, we have your decrease or loss of function and motivation. Nagkakaroon ka ng avolition na tinatawag. Wala kang, tawag dito, wala kang, what you call this one, pag abolition yan, wala kang eagerness to finish. Atas, lahat-lahat ng yan. Kasi nga, decrease ang iyong loss of function, decrease ang iyong functionality, and of course, decrease din ang iyong motivation to do a certain task. Aside from that one, pwede kang magkaroon ng alogia or alogia. Walang ibig sabihin ng alogia, that is your, your tendency to speak lil, or it's either very lil, yung mismong kino-convey mo na word, meron siyang lil substance of meaning. Okay, that is your alogia or alogia. And of course, meron ka ding blunted affect. Ibig sabihin, wala kang ka-react. For example, kahit nakakatuwa yung bagay, pero yung pagmumukha mo, hindi naman natutuwa. Ganun yung blunted affect na tinatawag natin. Of course, poor inertia. Again, aside from that one, you will have a poor self-care. Nagkakaroon ka na ng self-care deficit. And of course, last is your asociality or nagkakaroon ka na ng social withdrawal. Ayaw mo na makihalubida sa ibang tao. That's why you intend to isolate yourself. And that these are your negative symptoms of your schizophrenia. Okay? Next naman tayo here with your, dito na tayo, mag-start na tayo with your antipsychotics. Okay, wait lang. I-edit ko lang siya saglit. Kasi nag-move siya. Okay, let's proceed with your, wait lang, isa pa. Nag-move kasi siya, class. Pasensya na. Okay, let's proceed with your wait lang, class. Bakit ganun? Okay, let's proceed with your antipsychotics naman po tayo. Ay yung mga gamot to treat the symptoms of your schizophrenia. We have your antipsychotics, and of course, yung other term natin for antipsychotics, these are your major tranquilizers. And yung lumang pangalan ng antipsychotics natin, they are your neuroleptics na tinatawag. Okay, ulitin natin, these are your antipsychotics, your major tranquilizer, and neuroleptics. And this one, hindi po nila kinukure yung mismong disorder itself. Ang ginagawa lang po nito is, this one is very crucial pagdating dun sa mismong successful management ng symptoms ng patient na merong schizophrenia. Okay, so yung ating antipsychotics, of course, yung kanyang mechanism of action, sabi natin kanina, pag meron kang schizophrenia, mataas ang level ng dopamine natin. So therefore, pag magbibigay tayo ng antipsychotics, of course, ang gagawin niya is to block the action of your dopamine. Sir, saan po ba nanggagaling yung neurotransmitter na dopamine na yan? Okay, your neurotransmitter na dopamine, it is being produced by your substantia nigra. Okay, sa brain pa natin yan. Your dopamine is being produced from your or by your substantia nigra na tinatawag natin. And then, sabi natin antipsychotics, ibablock natin yung action ng dopamine natin. Therefore, yung antipsychotics natin, tinatawag din po siyang natin dopaminergic antagonist. Kasi binablock po natin yung mismong action ng ating ng ating mga dopamine na neurotransmitter natin. Okay? So, yan pang action ng ating antipsychotics. It blocks your action of your dopamine. Specifically, anong receptors yan? Specifically, your D2 receptors na tinatawag natin. Okay? So, yung antipsychotics natin, meron pong dalawang klase yan. Or at least tatlong klase kasi yan. First, we have your typical or your conventional first generation antipsychotics. And of course, meron din po tayong tinatawag na atypical second generation or your second generation antipsychotics. And then meron din po tayong tinatawag na third generation antipsychotics natin. Okay, dito muna tayo sa mismong advantages and disadvantages ng gamot na to. For your typical or your first generation antipsychotics, ang kanyang advantage is that it is cheaper and more available. Therefore, itong mga gamot na to, makikita po natin sa mga mental health facility here in the Philippines. Yung mga typical antipsychotics natin like your Thorazine, mga Haldol, lahat yan. They are cheaper and more available. That's why yun pa yung ginagamit natin in our mental health facility. However, with your atypical antipsychotics naman, ang kanyang advantages, it is less, okay? Less sila mag-produce ng EPS na tinatawag. Ano po yung EPS na tinatawag natin, sir? Your EPS, yan po yung tinatawag natin na extra pyrimidal syndrome na tinatawag natin. That is your extra pyrimidal syndrome na tinatawag natin that will be further discussed later on this concept. Okay, less sila mag-produce ng EPS na tinatawag. Yan, isa po kasi yan sa mga side effects ng pagtitake natin ng antipsychotics. That is your EPS or your extrapyramidal syndrome. Okay, although dalawa sila nagproproduce ng EPS ng mga typical and atypical antipsychotics natin, but then, lesser lang po ang incidence na magka-develop ka ng EPS sa mga patients na merong nag-take ng atypical antipsychotics natin. And of course, they are being used to treat what? Both positive and negative symptoms of your schizophrenia. So may atypical antipsychotics po yan. How about with the disadvantages of this medication or these two types of your antipsychotics? Number one, for your typical antipsychotics, ang kanyang disadvantage, sabi natin kanina, it produces more EPS or it produces more extrapyramidal syndrome. And of course, it only treats your positive symptoms of your schizophrenia. Therefore, yung cognitive and also the negative symptoms, hindi po na-treat ng ating typical or your conventional or your first generation antipsychotics. However, on the other side naman po, yung disadvantage ng ating mga atypical or second generation antipsychotics, they are more expensive, they are less available, and they causes more agranulocytosis na tinatawag natin. Although, itong mga itong mga antipsychotics natin produces your agranulocytosis, but then, mas matindi mag-produce or mas mataas yung risk mo magka-develop ng agranulocytosis kapag ikaw ay nagtitake ng atypical or second generation antipsychotics natin. Okay? Of course, for our third generation antipsychotics naman, meron po rin yan, tatlo yan. Dito muna tayo sa ating mga typical or first generation antipsychotics natin. Divided po yan into two. Anong dalawang yun, sir? First, we have your phenothiazines, and of course, we also have your non-phenothiazines na tinatawag natin. Anong mga gamot na under your phenothiazines, sir? Letter C. We have your chlorpromazine. Next, we have your perfenazine, F for fluphenazine, T for thiorizidine, M for mesoridazine, and letter T again for trifluoperazine natin. So they usually end with the suffix na zin, zin, zin. They are under your typical antipsychotics, under your phenothiazines natin. On the other side naman po, meron pa tayong mga non-phenothiazines. Anong mga non-phenothiazines natin? We have your butyrophenones, dibenzazepine. We also have your dihydronolones, and of course, your thioxanthines na tinatawag natin. Under your butyrophenones natin, meron pa tayong dalawa. Very common po to. Ano yung, sir? It's your haloperidol or yung brand name niya na Haldol. And of course, we also have your droperidol natin. Under your dibenzazepine naman, we have your loxapine. For your dihydrondolones, we have your morindone. Okay? And then, for your triosantins naman, we have your triotixin natin. Okay? It's not necessary for you to memorize yung lahat ng gamot na mga antipsychotics kasi ang ending niyan, na-memorize mo na lahat ng ating antipsychotics. Ang ending naman yan, magte-take ka na ng Haldol kasi nakakabaliw talaga lahat pag i-memorize mo ito. Okay, focus lang talaga tayo sa mismong nursing interventions natin kung ano yung pwede natin gawin as a nurse kapag nagkaroon ng problem si patient while taking these medications. Okay? So under naman your atypical antipsychotics or your second generations, ito naman po yung mga letter C for clozapine, letter R for risperidone, letter O for olanzapine, letter Q for quetiapine, letter Z for ziprasidone, P for paliperidone, letter I for iloperidone, don naman dito sa kabila, no, and pine. And letter A for asenapine, and of course, lurasidone na tinatawag natin. And under this one, meron din pa tayong tinatawag na third generation antipsychotics natin. Ano yung mga third generation antipsychotics natin? We have your aripiprazole. Next, we have your cariprazine. And of course, we have your brexpiprazole. Diba sabi ko dati, hindi lahat na nag-e-end ng zol, they are under your PPI or your proton pump inhibitor kasi meron din pa tayong zol dito sa ating mga antipsychotics na tinatawag natin. So let's proceed with your iba't ibang side effects natin while taking your patient, for patients taking their, antipsychotics. Number 1, okay, your antipsychotics usually causes what? Blurred vision. Bakit ka nagkakaroon ng blurred vision? Of course, yung effect kasi ng ating antipsychotics, they usually causes what? Drying of your eyes na tinatawag natin. Therefore, what will be our advice to our patients who are taking your antipsychotics kapag nagkaroon sila ng blurred vision? Of course, you have to advise them to avoid driving or any activities or hazardous activities that involves yung mga mechanical like that para hindi sila maano. Kasi it causes what? Blurring of your vision because nagkakos siya ng dryness of your eyes, yung ating mga antipsychotics. And aside from that one, it also causes what? Drying of your mouth. Therefore, kapag nag-dry yung mouth ng patient natin, what will be our intervention? Bakit hindi mo pwedeng painimin na lang ng tubig yung patient natin, sir, kapag nag-dry yung mouth ng patient? Of course, hindi po pwede kasi later on, i-discuss po natin, naka-cluster pa kasing mga effects ng gamot na to sa ating mga patients. Okay, bakit hindi pwedeng bigyan ng gamot? Kasi later on, i-discuss natin yan. Dito sa susunod na side effect yan. Ano din ang magiging intervention natin, sir? Kapag yung gamot na yung nagkakos ng dry mouth, what we can do is to give sugarless gum. Okay, we can give a sugarless gum or yung mga ice chips natin, we can give that to our patient to relieve their dry mouth. That is being caused by your antipsychotics. And aside from that one, the reason why hindi tayo pwedeng magbigay ng tubig kasi your antipsychotics can, can increase your HR, can cause palpitation, and of course, it can cause constipation. Okay, pwede sana yung pag-inom ng tubig, but then, sabi natin kanina, hindi siya pwede kasi nga, your antipsychotics causes what? Urinary retention. Okay, it causes urinary retention. Therefore, anong pwede natin gawin dito kapag nag-persist yung mga side effects na to? We need to monitor and report. Okay, kapag nag-persist yung mga side effects na to for your patients who are taking your antipsychotics. And aside from that one, we also have here your photosensitivity. Okay, so yung patient natin na nag-undergo ng ating antipsychotics, we need to instruct them to avoid sunlight. Kasi yung ating mga antipsychotics, it causes severe sunburns po yan. Okay, yung antipsychotics natin, they usually causes severe sunburns that will lead to hindi maganda, di ba? Kapag nagkaroon ng severe sunburn yung patients natin. Therefore, kapag ganun, what we can do is to instruct them not to be exposed to sunlight. And aside from that one, kapag hindi talaga siya maiwasan, kailangan natin instruct si patient na gumamit ng mga sunscreen natin. And of course, pwede natin silang paggamitin ng long sleeves na mga damit para hindi sila ma-expose sa sunlight to avoid the severe sunburst that is being caused by your antipsychotics. And aside from that one, it also causes what? Ito siya. Orthostatic hypotension. Affected po yung ating blood pressure. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng orthostatic? That is the gradual change, no? Or pagbagsak ng blood pressure natin kapag nagkaroon tayo ng gradual change in your position. So ano din po ang dapat nating sabihin kay patient or instruction natin kay patient? We have to advise your patient for not gradual change. It should be sudden change pala. I'm so sorry. Okay, sudden change in position, babagsak ang BP mo. Therefore, what will be your advice to your patient? You have to advise them to gradually change their position para hindi po bumagsak ang kanilang blood pressure natin. Okay? We also have here your different, yung mga iba't ibang side effects ng gamot natin. We have your, sinabi natin kanina, your extrapyramidal syndrome natin or your EPS na tinatawag natin. Okay? Yung EPS kasi natin, class, this can actually begin kay dancer. It can actually begin 15 or within the 15 to 30 days after ng initiation ng antipsychotics natin. Okay, after initiation of your antipsychotics, lalabas po yung mga extrapyramidal syndrome or mga EPS na tinatawag natin. And then, your EPS kasi, class, they're actually reversible. Ibig sabihin reversible, pwede pa po siyang matreat, definitely, or pwede mo bang maibalik dun sa at least normal function ng patient? Definitely, yes. Okay, tandaan natin class ha, pag meron kasing correlation between yung ating dopamine and your acetylcholine na neurotransmitter. Kaya nga nagkakaroon ka ng EPS kasi, nagkakaroon ng problem sa acetylcholine na neurotransmitter natin. So tandaan niyo ito class ha, yung ating acetylcholine, pag nagkaroon, since ang problem sa ating schizophrenia, masyadong mataas yung ating dopamine level. Therefore, magbibigay tayo ng antipsychotics para mapababa yung dopamine natin. Tama? Ngayon, ang problem naman, bakit magkakaroon ng correlation yung ating dopamine and your acetylcholine? Ngayon, ang goal natin is to block the action or pababain ang dopamine level ng patient na may schizophrenia. Therefore, anong mangyayari sa ating acetylcholine? Tataas naman po ang ating acetylcholine that will lead to the production of your extrapyramidal syndrome na tinatawag natin. Pag masyadong mataas ang ating acetylcholine, magkakaroon ka ng extrapyramidal syndrome na tinatawag natin. Okay, ano yung unang EPS natin? We have your number 1, we have your pseudo-Parkinsonism. Ibig sabihin, pseudo-Parkinsonism, these are actually Parkinson-like symptoms. Okay, that is actually para nagiging tawag dito, next to Parkinson na yan, nag-manifest ka na rin yung mga iba't ibang clinical manifestation ng Parkinsonism. Kaya nga siya tinawag na pseudo-Parkinsonism. Yung tinatawag. Okay, in your pseudo-Parkinsonism, ano yung mga example nito? Of course, number 1, we have your pill rolling tremors. And this pill rolling tremors class, this is actually, para kang nag-roll ng pill din sa mismong kamay mo, ganyan. Okay, pill rolling tremors, para kang may niro-roll na gamot sa mismong thumb in your, tawag dito, index finger. Yan po yung pill rolling na tinatawag natin. And this is actually classified as your hallmark sign, okay, of your Parkinson's disease. Okay, and aside from that one, pwede kang magkaroon ng mask-like faces. Okay, pwede kang magkaroon ng mask-like faces. And aside from that one, pwede kang magkaroon ng tinatawag na cogwheel rigidity. And of course, pwede kang magkaroon ng propulsive gait. And also your stoop posture na tinatawag natin. Okay, dito muna tayo sa ating pseudo-Parkinsonism. Sabi natin kanina, tumaas yung ating acetylcholine that produces your EPS na tinatawag. And isa sa mga EPS natin, we have your pseudo-Parkinsonism natin. Sir, kapag nagkaroon ka ng pseudo-Parkinsonism, ano po yung affected na cranial nerves natin? The affected cranial nerves, kapag nagkaroon ka ng EPS, or masyadong mataas ang ating acetylcholine, is your cranial nerve number 7 and your cranial nerve number 11. Ano po ba yung cranial nerve number 7 natin? That is your facial, di ba? Facial nerve natin yan. How about with your cranial nerve number 11? This is your spinal or your accessory nerves natin. Okay, that is why kapag affected yung ating facial nerve, anong mangyayari sa atin? Magkakaroon ka ng muscle rigidity sa face natin. Magkakaroon ka ng muscle rigidity in your face. That is why magkakaroon ka ng mask-like face na tinatawag. Ibig sabihin ng mask-like face, kaya mo ba bang mag-smile kapag rigid ang muscles sa mukha? Of course, hindi. Kaya mo bang mag-frown? Definitely hindi. Kaya nga siya tinawag na mask-like face, parang maskara lang yung mismo mukha mo. And aside from that one, sabi natin kanina, affected ang ating spinal or your accessory or your cranial nerve number 11. Therefore, it will result to what? Your cogwheel rigidity. Of course, yung spinal, kasi or accessory, sa may balikat yan, no? Sa may balikat natin. Kasi yung other term natin for your cogwheel rigidity, this is your tinatawag na lead pipe rigidity natin. Okay, together with your pill-rolling tremors, this one, okay, yung pill-rolling tremors, kasi natin nagkakaroon ka ng tremors ang stress, together with your cogwheel rigidity, these are your hallmark sign of your Parkinson's disease. And aside from that one, in your propulsive gait, sabi natin, affected ang ating cranial nerve number 11, meron pa ba bang kakayahang i-balance ang ating katawan? Therefore, hindi na po. Therefore, nahihirapan kong mag-balance yung patient natin na merong tinatawag na pseudo-Parkinsonism. Ano din po ang itsura niyan, sir? Of course, sabi natin, for example, this is the head of your patient. Sabi natin, propulsive gait, or nagkaroon siya ng shuffling gait, or stoop posture. Tinatawag natin kanina, ganito po siya. Okay, ganyan po yung mismong itsura ng mga merong Parkinson's disease. Therefore, kapag meron kang propulsive gait, paano ka din maglakad, sir? Okay? Lakad, stop, stoop. Pwede ka kayong matumba kapag ganun? Definitely yes. Therefore, what will be our nursing priority in here? It's your safety. To prevent your risk for injury and for fall. So that is your pseudo-Parkinsonism natin. And aside from that one, we also have here your akathisia. Okay, pag sinabi kasi natin akathisia, this is your restless leg syndrome. Hindi yan makapag-pirmi. Akathisia. Di ba? Pag makati ka, hindi ka talaga parang aligaga ka, di ba? Hindi ka makapag-pirmi. Ibig sabihin nun, nagkakaroon ka ng akathisia or your restless syndrome na tinatawag natin. And of course, you also have your dystonia. Ibig sabihin ng dystonia, that is a defect, no, in your muscle tone. Nagkakaroon ng defect in your muscle tone natin. So, ano ba yung tatlong features ng dystonia natin? Number 1, we have your torticollis. We also have your oculogyric. We also have your oculogyric crisis. And of course, you also have your opistotonus na tinatawag. Okay, pag opistotonus, that is the arcing of your back, di ba? Nag-arc yung back mo. Kapag oculogyric crisis naman, yung mata mo bumabaliktad. Okay, that is your dystonia. And these are the 3 features of your dystonia na tinatawag. So what we can do now as a nurse is that, of course, you have to report these symptoms, di ba? Lalo kapag nag-persist ito, nagiging reportable talaga siya. And that is our responsibility to report it to the attending physician immediately. Kasi these are, lalo pag nag-persist ng mga gamot ito, and we don't want it to happen to progress into something na mas malala, kailangan natin siyang i-report sa ating attending physician. So what can the doctor do? Okay, regarding to this, kung anong pwede nilang gawin is that they're going to discontinue the next dose. Okay, sabi natin kanina, we have to report the symptoms at once, and we can give your antidotes. Okay, what are the antidotes? Kasi sabi natin kanina, sir, masyadong mataas yung ating ating acetylcholine because of the nagkaroon ng imbalance between your dopamine and your acetylcholine because of your antipsychotics na bibigay natin. Kasi sabi natin kanina, your antipsychotics, they are dopaminergics antagonists. So we can give your dopaminergics. Okay? Ano yung mga dopaminergics natin? Gamot po sa mga may Parkinson's to. We have your levodopa, your Espical, and your Sporadel na tinatawag natin. However, we can also give your anticholinergics as our antidote for patients who will have your pseudoparkinsonisms or your EPS tinatawag. Ano yung mga yon? We have your akinetone, your Artane, your Benadryl, and your Cogentin na tinatawag natin. Okay. Next naman tayo here with your another tawag dito, effect ng gamot natin, hindi magandang effect is your neuroleptic malignant syndrome or your NMS. Okay, yung NMS natin, ang characteristics kasi ng NMS natin, number 1, we have your muscle rigidity, we have your high-grade fever, talagang mataas ang lagnat ng patient, and of course, merong erratic na blood pressure. Ibig sabihin, masyadong mataas ang blood pressure ng patient natin. Although, yung ating NMS kasi class, they are actually rare. But these are potentially serious, no? And pwede siyang ikamatay ng patient natin pag hindi natin siya maagapan. Although it's very rare to happen for patients who are taking your antipsychotics, but there are actually risks that will increase the risk, okay, for you to develop this kind of syndrome. So what we can do is that, of course, we have to withhold the medication, and of course, we have to notify the attending physician or the primary healthcare provider of that patient who are taking your antipsychotics. And of course, as a nurse, hindi naman pwedeng wala tayong gagawin. Masyadong mataas yung lagnat ng patient natin. What we can do is to provide at least cooling measures. That is our independent nursing intervention. We have to at least provide cooling measures. Ano ba yung mga measures natin to slow the tawag dito, to at least decrease the temperature of our patient. Of course, what we can do is to provide what? TSB or your timid sponge bath, and of course, we can also administer your antipyretics. Okay, so naintindihan natin yung mga gamot yung mga effects ng gamot natin under your antipsychotics. You have your EPS and your NMS na tinatawag natin. So dito tayo sa ating adverse effects na tinatawag. Ibig sabihin, kapag adverse yan, mas malala siya compared sa ating mga intended or mga expected na effect ng gamot aside sa kanyang therapeutic effects. So these are your adverse effects that we need to report promptly. Okay, we need to report promptly this one. Of course, number 1, we have your tardive dyskinesia, your agranulocytosis, and your hepatotoxicity. Okay, let's start with your tardive dyskinesia class. Pag sinabi natin tardive dyskinesia class, this is actually the continuation of your extrapyramidal syndrome. Anong pinagkaibahan ng dalawang to, your PEPS, sabi natin kanina, they are reversible. Pwede natin i-revert, pwede natin ibalik yan sa at least normal function ng patient natin kapag nagkaroon man siya ng EPS. But then with here, your tardive dyskinesia, this is irreversible. Okay, your tardive dyskinesia is irreversible. Ano ba yung mga characteristics ng tardive dyskinesia natin? Number 1, we have your lip smacking. Next, your lip smacking, nagkakaroon ng variform movement of your tongue. Okay, nagkakaroon ng variform movement of your tongue. Kung sa ating EPS kanina, ang affected or ang affectation ng mga cranial nerves are your cranial nerve number 7 and 11. In here, in your tardive dyskinesia, that makes it serious. Okay, that makes it potentially fatal. Your patient are your cranial nerve number 9 and your cranial nerve number 12. First, what is your cranial nerve number 9? This is your glossopharyngeal, tama? This is your glossopharyngeal. How about with your cranial nerve number 12? This is your hypoglossal. Okay, what makes it dangerous is that kapag nagkaroon ng problem sa yung cranial nerve number 9 or your glossopharyngeal, ang mangyayari sa'yo, magkakaroon ka ng problem in your gag reflex. Magkakaroon ka ng problem in your gag reflex na tinatawag natin. How about with your cranial nerve number 12? sa ating hypoglossal. Kapag nagkaroon ka ng ng problem sa hypoglossal mo, which helps with your swallowing, therefore, ano yung magiging potential or ano yung magiging risk kay patient kapag nagkaroon ng problem sa ating cranial nerve number 9 and cranial nerve number 12? It's your risk for aspiration. That makes it dangerous sa mga patients na pwedeng mag-develop ng tardive dyskinesia. Next to this one, we also have here your agranulocytosis. Kasi pag nagkaroon ka ng agranulocytosis, automatically, pwedeng masyadong mababa or bababa yung WBC count according to your laboratory results that will lead to possible infection. Okay, kapag nagkaroon ka ng infection, it will further lead to what's possible septicemia. Okay, that's make it hazard or that make it potentially dangerous to your patient na magka-develop ng agranulocytosis. And of course, kailangan natin i-watch out for ano ba yung triad? Ano ba yung triad ng ating agranulocytosis tinatawag natin? Number 1, we have your high-grade fever. Next, we have your sore throat. Na-discuss na natin ito before with your cardiac drugs, no? Pag nag-take ka ng mga ACE inhibitors, mga ganyan, di ba? And of course, we also have your skin rashes natin. So these are the symptoms or the triad of your agranulocytosis that you need to watch out for. And aside from that one, sabi natin kanina pag nagkaroon ka ng agranulocytosis, bababa ang iyong WBC. Ano ba yung normal natin? Normal range ng ating WBC, it's 5,000 to at least 10,000 cubic millimeter. Okay, that is the normal level or range of your WBC kapag meron kang granulocytosis less than 5,000. Okay? And aside from that one, we also have your hepatotoxicity. Okay? Kapag si patient kasi nagkaroon ng meron siyang hepatic failure or meron siyang problem then sa kanyang liver while taking your antipsychotics, automatically it will lead to possible problem in their liver. That is why we have to monitor their LFT or their liver function test na tinatawag natin. Ano ba yung mga liver function test natin? It's your AST and your ALT. Okay? Para makita natin kung nag-function ba na mabuti yung ating liver. Kasi kapag napabayaan natin to, yung patient natin pwedeng mag-develop ng toxic hepatitis. And the worst is that pwede siyang mag-develop ng tinatawag na post-necrotic cirrhosis. Okay, so that ends our discussion for your antipsychotics or your neuroleptics or your major tranquilizers. Thank you.